What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Strike like a lightning bolt. You feel the ground pounding, that might be the coast. Quick like a joke, like to hit when provoked. Don't you doubt that. That's a jaguar to a house cat. That's an outcast to a whole squadron. If you talking Houston, then we've got a problem. You'll probably get the horns if you mess with the cattle. Sit back in your saddle and get ready for the fan battle.
What up, what up, what up? And welcome to the AFC South Fan Battle podcast. I'm your host tonight because Samantha and Josh are in Florida and it's below 50 degrees. So as like the iguanas, they are frozen to death. So they will not be joining us tonight. But I got two guys, I would say they're classy, joining me today. First off, representing the Colts, I got the Uncle Gandhi himself, Mr. Harish Nukala.
What's going down? What's going down? Hello. Just prepare for the next 8 months. The Titans are going to start claiming their Super Bowls.
It's already happening. And speaking of the Titans, the Mayo Whiskey Man himself, we got Mr. Michael Newsom. What's going on, buddy?
Just nice to have a head coach that's going to take us to back-to-back Super Bowls this coming season.
Bro, put the Mayo down, okay? Like, it's too early.
Listen, Michael, we asked you not to bring whiskey. What's that in your background right there? I think I see it on the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got a little mixer here.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, well, guys, let's kind of jump into a little bit of NFL news, but not really. I mean, playoffs before. I mean, one team we're going to talk about more. But right now, let's just get – Reese, I'll start with you. What – besides the Ravens and Texans game, what game caught your eye the most this weekend?
So Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes, man, just another classic. Oh, those two guys. Listen, I know a lot of people want to blame Josh Allen for his woes. I'm still not convinced they've helped him enough. Like, especially at running back. They live in a cold weather city where it gets like 2 degrees, and their best running back is Cook, right? James Cook is good, but he's not a starter in the NFL. You notice how he started off really well and then just kind of tailed off. That's literally the Bills' offense. And then I still think Josh Allen missed some really critical throws that were throws that he could have easily made, especially the one at the end on 3rd down where the guy was wide open in the end zone. But they've got to help that guy, man. Got to help that guy. And they're running out of time.
Yeah, the window's closing quick, right? A lot of AFC teams are getting better. So this was the year, especially with the Chiefs being somewhat down, if you want to call it. I don't get that. But, every time you have Patrick Mahomes, you have a chance. Michael, what about you, man? What game caught your eye the most?
Well, first on the Bills, they're also $44 million over cap for 2024, so they're going to lose some weapons around Josh Allen this year.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the Lions game, just seeing them have some success after over 3 decades of just being in poverty. So that's who, since Titans are out, that's who I'm rooting for to take it all this year.
Same.
Yeah. It's a very interesting matchup, that Niners-Lions matchup. Yeah, I mean, which quarterback would you guys take? Are you guys taking Purdy or Goff? Because Goff has been playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? All these quarterbacks this year, at least in the division round, the whole playoffs are, I mean, you could not say there was not a bad quarterback in the playoffs. Baker Mayfield was playing out of his mind. Like, you cannot say he was a bad quarterback this year.
Baker Mayfield sucks.
He sucks because he came from Oklahoma, but dude, still he balled out this year. The game that caught my eye the most was the Packers game. I don't
That
know
was
what
a good game.
I don't know what deal they made with the devil, but how do you get a franchise quarterback every single freaking time, bro? Like
Every 20 years.
I don't get I don't get it. And they're like, all right, look, here, devil, we'll give us a franchise Hall of Fame quarterback. We'll trade him to the Jets, make him think they're going to be a good quarterback. Just give us a new one. Okay, here you go. I was like, every time. I don't get it, man. Like,
Literally,
I thought Jordan Love was going to be a dud, and here he comes just balling out, bro. Like, bro.
literally, by the time Jordan Love is gone, they would have had 60 years of great quarterback play. Half a century. They've had great quarterback play for over my entire life.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
Spoiled. Packer fans are spoiled, bro. Like,
They're not ready for their downfall, whenever that may be.
dude, you think that the Colts fans were spoiled from going from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck? No. Imagine going from Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and now what it seems like Jordan Love, who's going to be fantastic. And shout out to you, Haris. I remember him coming out. You said that's the guy you wanted instead of Easton. You said you wanted Jordan Love. And look what happened, you know.
Yeah, look what happened. Our Goodwill GM took Jacob Eason.
Yep.
And he set his back like 3 years. Shocking.
Not Mr. Frank Wright
Chris
himself.
Ballard.
Oh yeah, Chris Ballard, right. I thought you were talking about Potato Head there for a second. But all right, we'll move on a little bit more. Some coaching moves have happened. We'll get to one important one here in a second, but Antonio Pierce to the Raiders, Reese, are you surprised?
No, because you know what? I think the players finally held the Davis to the fire. They didn't want to lose Max Crosby. I really think that's what it came down to. I think the secondarily, Antonio Pierce actually did a really good job. If there's any, but this also then becomes one of those things, right? We're starting to see era players that we grew up watching now in the coaching ranks. We're waiting for that one guy to take that step. Who is that guy going to be? I think we've seen glimpses of it, right? Mike Vrabel did well a couple of years ago. Antonio Pierce comes
doing
in
a good job.
Right. Yeah. Jeff Saturday, we know he can't coach worth a shit. Or he didn't want to, whatever the case might be. But it'll be very interesting to see. Problem with teams like the Raiders, they just don't help that coach out, right? They go draft, a tight end number 3 overall when they don't have a quarterback or offensive lineman, and then they blame the coach. So it's still going to come down to the Davises and Vegas, but I thought it was a great hire.
To me, it reminds me of a guy like Dan Campbell. Like, he's a Dan Campbell type of coach. Like, rally the players around him.
Yeah.
So I think it was a good hire. Michael, what do you think about it? Good hire?
I was questionable about it. I was surprised when they made the move. My first impression is it's not always the best idea to let the players hire your head coach on Twitter. Like, a few threatening tweets from the players, and you just bend over for them.
But I mean, I get what you're saying, but look what happened last time. That when they fired John Gruden, which, I mean, we all could say he deserved to be fired for what he did, but they went to the playoffs with their interim head coach, and they didn't even give the guy a shot. They hired Josh McDaniels because he's Bill Belichick's proteges, and look what happened.
Can that guy stop getting jobs? Seriously,
no. That is look. I'll probably get canceled for this, but that is the definition of white privilege right there. It doesn't matter what he does.
Since you said it, I'll jump on your bandwagon.
I mean, I'm just saying, if there's a definition, that's it all over. The dude could be subpar and get a head coach job after one after another. Just crazy.
I'd rather have Frank Reich over. Oh wait, never mind. Just kidding.
And And then you got people like Bill Belichick maybe going to the Falcons is what it seems like. Smart move for the Falcons. I don't think it's a smart move. I'm gonna be the one that says I do not think it's gonna be a smart move. But
It doesn't make sense.
Right.
They need an offensive guy.
Right.
They have all these Bill Belichick is going to misuse Bijan Robinson. He's going to piss me off. Bro, they are literally going to waste a generational talent running back, a generational talent tight end, and a really solid wide receiver because they keep bringing in these stupid coaches. Like, really, Arthur Smith, that's who you brought in, the guy that ran the ball 800 times in 3 years. That's the guy you brought in to be.
Don't run it when you have Bijan Robinson.
And then you have Bijan who's like, oh, yeah, you know what?
Let's pass the ball 80 times a game.
Right.
Let's
run RPO all of a sudden.
Yeah.
That's now my newfound scheme. I don't know.
Let me break the back of Derrick Henry, but I'm not going to use the first legs. Yeah. So.
That just doesn't make any sense. It'll be a weird hire. I mean, I can understand it. Where I thought Bill Belichick would go is the Cowboys, but we know how stupid they are. So
yeah, I mean they didn't even fire Mike Shanahan, and it looks like the Eagles are keeping the crybaby up there. So
that's all right. They're gonna run him out anyway. That doesn't matter.
One more year in mediocrity, they'll kick him to the curb. Yeah. But there's some interesting. The Saints are interested in Johnson, the quarterback coach for the Texans, and so are the Panthers for the OC spot. Or no, I'm sorry, the Redskins for the OC spot. I don't want that to happen, but like me and Maurice were talking about pre-production, that's what happens when you become good. People start taking your coaches, and also I'm kind of in denial about this one, but there's several teams going after my boy, my OC, Bobby Slowick. I don't want that to happen. I'm glad the Titans didn't get him, keep him out of the South.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I still don't think he's going to take a job, but that's just me being biased. Since it's AFC South related, Michael, do you think he becomes the head coach?
I thought he was going to become a head coach early on in the cycle. Right now, I think that he's going to stay for one more year. I think a lot of teams feel like 1 year as Colin plays, they want him to prove it a second year.
Okay. Maurice, what about you? What's your thoughts?
Yes, but here's the thing, right? And they tell OCs this all the time. There's just certain teams that are set up for success right now, and there's certain jobs that you take. The risk with staying one more year is next year you might end up with like a New York Jets job, right?
Or the Brian Leftwich, right? Yeah, or you be like Brian Leftwich and just suck,
right? And you just suck, or rebuilding Tampa Bay, right? Or I just think there's too many good coaching jobs out there right now with a lot of talent on young rosters.
Yeah.
Obviously, D'Amico Ryans is probably going to try to see if Slowick will stay. I think Slowick would be smart. If he could get the Falcons or the Chargers job, he needs to go.
Look, here's another one I would take. I would, if I was him, I would be eyeing Washington. I mean, that's.
Oh, yeah, Washington. Yeah. I mean, got what? Do they have like the 2 or 3 pick? So you can go get your franchise quarterback. You're the guy. That's your guy. You don't have to worry about a bridge. You've got weapons out there and Terry McLaurin. You've got a good tight end. You've got a decent backfield. And they can go get a GM that knows what he's doing for a couple of years. I mean, you can go build a monster out there. The Cowboys and the Eagles are going to probably fall off here in the next couple of years, and you're rising at the right time. So, again, there's just situations out there that just make a lot of sense.
I agree with the Chargers. I mean, that's. I mean, you got your franchise quarterback already, and just build pieces around him. Yeah. Right. So,
I think Jim Harbaugh is going to end up with the Chargers. I think that's inevitable at this point. He wants to go back to LA. I think he wants to get back into the NFL ranks. If Michigan doesn't give him the immunity he's asking for all these violations, he's out of there.
Yeah.
And as a Texas fan, I hope that happens too because we're about to rank their team.
And that's probably a guy that's probably a guy where like he can go anywhere, right? Like he could go to a Carolina team and start rebuilding pretty quickly. I'm not saying instant like D'Amico did, but like a 3 to 4 years. And Washington, same thing. Like he's a good enough coach where he can, flip it around.
Who are you talking, Jim? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's won the national title at his alma mater. He's got nothing else to prove.
Well, yeah, and he took the 49ers to the Super Bowl, bro. Like he has experience everywhere. Like,
yep. And college football is about to get harder, and I don't think he wants to be a part of that grind.
Yeah. Nobody does. I mean, look, the greatest coach in college history retired.
Yeah, he's like, screw that.
Yeah, he's like, nah, there's no way you can compete. The NIL and the transfer portal just lubed up the college aspect of it, and
try to tell people didn't listen. I tried to tell people 3 years ago, if NIL is approved, Texas will be on the upside. Hey, nobody wants
not even that, the transfer portal. Look how many people wanted to come to Texas. I mean, it's crazy.
We've always recruited well. We've only needed a coach, and now we've got that. It's done. We're about to run college football. I'm telling you. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah,
but that's a Thursday show conversation we can have.
Yeah, check them out on the Texas Longhorns podcast, the Fan Battle. Make sure Thursday nights. But all right, guys, we're moving in. I really don't want to, but let's talk about the reason why we're here. Ravens versus Texans, 34-10. Before I give my thoughts about it, Michael, what was your thoughts on this game? Other than that, you're glad to see that the Texans getting smoked.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a lot closer. I thought it would be closer to like a 31-24 type of game. I felt like the moment when the Texans' back really broke was on that 4th and 1 in the second half, and you all committed to the QB sneak, and they ran the QB sweep to the outside, and it seemed like from that point on, y'all never had a footing again.
Yeah.
But the O-line just couldn't get together at all. They allowed 4-man rush pressures the entire game.
Yeah. That's what happens when you have a great linebacking crew, right? Hurries, what's your thoughts on it?
I think there's a couple of things. Number one, this Texans defense is a lot better than they're getting credit for.
Yeah.
I think one thing that stood out to me was they had a couple blown calls even in the secondary, which kind of allowed a couple of drives to stay open. I mean, there's nothing really that Lamar Jackson did throughout that game that was just like, wow, unreal. Except for the one touchdown he had down the middle. That's the one thing. I don't think they played a QB spy enough because Lamar Jackson was able to get down just straight down the middle of your field a couple times, and one went for a touchdown. I think it's just I think the Texans are really close, and I think their GM understands how close they are. They're a lot closer than probably people anticipated. And lo and behold, CJ Stroud is actually good. Shocking. Who would have thought that? I wish somebody would have told us that. Right. And so while he's on a rookie contract, they're going to go all out. This Texans team has the GM that's set up this franchise up right. They now have the quarterback. It's going to be a good team. That was a good defense that they played. The Ravens played. Yeah, it's just young, right? Yeah. They need a couple more offensive weapons. I think at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. You've got to be able to keep up and score with teams like that, no matter how good your defense is, because eventually we're just in a league where offense just outplays the defense. So it's it'll be different. If I know you're a big T'Vondre Sweat guy, and I think that's a guy that you probably need to help stop the run. But they really need a middle linebacker that has some twitch to him.
We need a Mike for sure, right?
Yeah, we need a true Mike linebacker. So I think the Texans have some great opportunities here, seeing that they have 2 first-round picks. So I think, are they back-to-back?
Who?
Your first-round picks?
No, we don't. We only have one. We traded the other one to Arizona for Anderson.
Oh, that's right. I guess the other question is, what do you guys do with Tunsil now? Is there an injury? Is there an injury concern there?
I mean, not really. He's just look. Tunsil is a good left tackle. He's going to get you 2 to 3 false starts every game, right? and then
Yeah.
it seems like he has a problem picking up the blitz.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's something we can fix. But this game, really, the inexperience, the youth showed in this game, right? Not just from the players, but the coaching. Like the first quarter, Lamar was eating us up. He was big gashes, running the ball. That because we were running man, he didn't want to get hit with the big plays downfield.
Yeah.
So just like against the Colts, so we didn't have a spy on him.
Yep.
And it just took off. But in the second quarter, we went zone, and that's where like this comment from Juan, where he says Texans don't have a run defense. That's false. We have the third best run defense when we play zone. We manned up and just don't have a spy, and he ate us up. But when we ran zone, we had but Harris, which I think is going to be a fantastic linebacker.
That dude was all over the field.
Dude, yeah.
Christian Harris?
Yeah.
That guy was all over the field. He's good.
He was sacked him twice back to back.
Yeah.
It looked like they had the game plan. Fairbairn missed the 53-yarder. Fans are already calling for his head, which makes no sense, bro. Like, it's in the cold. The wind's blowing. Like, not everyone's gonna make it. But going to halftime, you're basically 0-0.
Yeah, it's 10-10.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, okay, you got the game plan to stop Lamar, and you come out and you go back to man, and he just, like Michael says, that play in the fourth quarter, you're right, it broke him. And then CJ couldn't get nothing going because he's running for his life. And then when he gets something going, you get hit with back-to-back false starts almost every time. The pre-snap penalties just killed us, man. It was terrible. Again, that's where the youth comes from. They never played in that type of environment. They never played where the fans are literally wanting to kill you, bro. Like, so it's just, you got to mark it up to experience. Like all these Texans fans are up. Like, I'm upset too that we lost, but
I had a great season.
A great season. Like, of course I want to make the AFC Championship, but you finally ran into a team that's more talented than you. This finally proves to you that you don't have the personnel that you need. You need a Tank Dell that's healthy. If Tank Dell's healthy, it's probably a different game. You need more.
I think
weapons.
it's closer. Yeah, you still need more weapons. I think they need a tight end that could stretch the
ball. But
I like Dalton Schultz, but the dude's like 96 and he can run out routes. Like that's basically all Dalton Schultz can do. He's not a guy that could stretch the field down the middle. I think a great guy that could do that. Sorry, just going to bring my Texas bias back. Jatavian Sanders, I think, would be perfect for that offense.
I want Worthy, Mitchell. Like I want a whole bunch of guys from Texas.
Yeah, I mean those. Worthy would be a guy, just a playmaker. That way you take – now Worthy would be a slot guy, right? A guy in the NFL, he would be a slot guy. He played outside for Texas. I think it's something like 80% of the time. But if you look at what we did with Worthy, it's a lot of RPOs down the field. The problem with Worthy being an outside guy in the NFL is he's not going to go get the ball for you, right? But having a guy like C.J. Stroud could benefit, right? Because C.J. Stroud will put the ball in the money.
Well, that too, and also – he will benefit in that San Francisco type offense, right? Worthy can be your Deebo Samuel. Like he can do the sweeps, he can do the misdirections, like
so fast.
So I think Worthy and give me some Coleman. I'll take some Coleman too. But honestly, I want veteran presence. Like if we're talking all season, I want guys who've been there. I want a Mike Evans. I want a Michael Pittman Jr.
You don't want him in the slot,
right? Yeah, I want Mike Evans in the slot. Like that's the most dumbest thing I ever heard. But AJ Brown is wanting out of Philly. Like if I can get him for a second round, take him. I
don't know if you're going to get him for a second round.
I don't think you do
He's
either.
So expensive.
I don't think you do either. But I don't want to give up a first for him. Like if a first is what's going to cost to get him. Like you can keep him, bro.
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this is the most anti Ballard guy because that's how I am. If he lets MPJ walk from that locker room, he deserves to be fired on the spot. There's a handful of things that he cannot do this offseason that he should be fired on the spot for. Number one, you cannot not do anything day one or day two of free agency. If you don't do anything day one or day two, you're out. Number two, you cannot let Michael Pittman Jr. walk. You cannot have to rebuild this wide receiving core for the third time in 9 years. You got to go. And number three, if you're going to go into the bargain bin, it better be for depth. It shouldn't be for starting talent. If Chris Ballard, we would have won that Texans game if Chris Ballard knew how to sign at least a guy that can tackle the damn ball player. Unreal. Like, yeah. I'm so fed up with that guy. I might get blocked by the Colts for telling them how much that guy sucks.
And another guy I wouldn't mind the Texans going after is Brandon Ayuk. I think Brandon Ayuk is a true number one. And him and CJ, woo boy! Like, don't get me wrong, Brock Purdy's a good quarterback, but he doesn't have the accuracy or the capabilities that CJ Stroud has. So, like, oh man, that'd be dirty. So, but yeah, it was a good season all for the Texans. Again, I would like to see an AFC Championship game, but like, dude, what we've done this year is phenomenal. No rookie head coach or quarterback, done it this far. It's great. So, hats off to them. And like you said, Hurries, this means that they're one step closer. So,
I don't know if they're they're one step closer. They're a lot closer than people probably thought they were.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe 2 to 3 years. I think that kind of gets accelerated a little bit.
Well, a lot of people don't realize, dude, scheming fixes everything.
Yeah,
it fixes everything. Like the offensive scheme, the defensive scheme. It has a lot of holes in your roster. But then when you play a team like the Ravens, that's pretty much all completed. I mean, you're going to get beat. Is this what happens? So I'm not mad. We just played a better team. But I'm like Michael from here on out. Let's go Lions. Give me some Lion pride, baby.
That'd be so cool. That would be real. Good job for them. That's what I meant to say earlier. I guess that is your success story, or player to coach. Mike Vrabel's done it before, right? So good job for them. Kneecaps was actually the right move. So for as much as he was clowned for that, here he is just 2 years later. Or 3 years.
Right. Well, since the Colts haven't really done nothing off season yet, we'll jump to the Mayo Brigade. They signed their head coach. Head coach wise, it's starting to look like the AFC South is on the uprise, right? Bryce, I'm not trying to murder his last name, so why don't you pronounce it for me, Michael?
Was that Brian Callahan?
There you go, Brian Callahan. I don't want to murder his last name, so.
So
what do you think? What do you think? Are you happy for it?
I'm happy because I wasn't happy with firing Vrabel. I'm still not happy with firing Vrabel. But after we did, I put out the article that this was my number one target if we're going to move on from Vrabel. And on every other list, he was number 3 or 4 or 5 behind Slowick and Ben Johnson and guys like that. But I felt like he had been there and done it. 4 years as an OC. He spent several years on McVay's staff. But I felt the one thing I hated about Vrabel was he never went outside the organization to hire assistants. It was always inside of his friend circle, promote from within. And I'm excited to see if Callahan can come in and build a real coaching staff for us for once.
Yeah. I think it's a smart move for your quarterback position, right?
Yeah.
Like him and Will Levis, that might be a nice little combination.
Coach, so.
Yeah.
Well, what pick do you guys have?
7th,
right? Yeah, the 7th.
So are we sure that Levis is his guy?
I mean, who are you gonna get at 7?
Yeah, he would have to trade up to get someone from 7.
I'm gonna look at this draft order because I've seen. I mean, there's
Caleb
so many quarterbacks.
Williams and Penix, and I mean they're all going like 2, 3, and 4, right? Like,
No,
Yeah, I
I mean
think so.
Drake May is 2, Jaden Daniels is 3.
right?
I mean Penix could be there at 7. I mean it has him right now projected to get Joe Alt, which is another guy that you need.
Right.
Yeah.
I really don't
maybe
think
you trade
Levis
up.
is.
Maybe you trade up from the second round and get
Yeah.
Penix. I think Penix is a mid to late round guy.
I think so too. I mean, look, Hurries, I would want the Titans to draft a quarterback because it'd be hilarious. I think in the last 3 years they went number 1, 2, and 3 for quarterbacks. But I honestly don't think Levis is the problem. I think it's
we
the
got-
offensive line. I think it's offensive line and offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So
Well, they haven't addressed the offensive line in like 10 years. So, I
Right.
mean, I would agree with that. I mean, you just never know with these quarterback situations, right? With these new head coaches. You know, he came from a guy like Joe Burrow. Is Will Levis a Joe Burrow type guy? I don't know. He's not a gunslinger, I can tell you that much just by watching him in Kentucky. He has an arm, but I tend to think of gunslingers as guys that can throw the ball and throw the ball accurately. And that's just not the type of guy that Will Levis is, in my opinion.
yeah,
See,
But-
he likes to throw 50-50 balls more than
Yeah, that's not a gunslinger. That's a risk taker. I'm not sure I like that.
but I mean that's really something that Bryce Gannon can fix, right? Or I
Sure.
keep calling Bryce Brian. You know, like he said, he used to be quarterback coach, and I mean, him and Joe Burrow made a pretty good match in heaven. But again, Joe Burrow is a different type of monster, right?
That's, yeah. He's
Right,
definitely
right.
a different level of awesome.
Right. So, but
another
yeah, I
thing-
agree. I think it's offensive line that you address, or weapon wise. Like Cheeseburger Eddie is not the answer.
Seriously.
So
He could be a number 2, right?
A number
Traylon
5.
Burks could be Traylon Burks could be a number 2. He's just not the guy. That's the other thing. There's so many wide receivers in this draft too.
bro,
And
Westbrook.
don't you dare take Roma Dunze. I swear to God.
Oh, bro, yeah. Please don't. I think Westbrook Akini is way better than Burks. I think he's a better receiver.
I think it maybe just fit the system better because of what
Right.
they were
Yeah, he's a
running.
better blocker downfield.
Yeah.
And
Which is,
Yeah.
I mean, when you run the ball 400 times a year, you need wide receivers that can block. So
Well, and he just shows up. He showed up a lot more than Burks, you know. So
True.
Yeah,
he also played a lot more.
right, exactly. Well, that's what we're talking about at the beginning of the show, right? The best ability is availability. If you can't make it on the field, like kick rocks, bro. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
literally.
So, but yeah, I think you gotta go offensive line or what. But yeah, I agree with her. Hurries. You get that receiver from Washington.
No.
I'm boycotting it.
Dibs.
Yeah.
Dibs.
So, yeah.
I need Chris Ballard to re-sign MPJ
and trade
and go
up.
get Roma Dunze.
Trade up.
That's literally you just fixed your offense. Yeah. Quit being a sissy and go
Bro,
trade up.
I'll tell you who. I'll tell you who. If I was the Colts and
I
the
don't want
guy
Brock
that
Bowers.
you don't want who?
Brock Bowers.
What?
I'm not convinced on. I've seen Brock Bowers play.
Bro.
I've seen Brock Bowers play. You talk about availability, dude's never available.
I mean, true. You got me there. I mean, you got me there. But when he is available, he's the best. You know.
Oh, cool. Yeah, let's just go get the
Yeah.
next Kyle Pitts. Yeah.
True. You got me there again. But
I don't know.
Yeah.
I love Roma Dunze. He's a guy that listen. We've got great. We don't have. I'm not saying we have Brock Bowers type tight ends. We've got really good tight ends that can stretch the field, that can get a lot of good yards after carry. You have Kylan Granson, who's very underutilized, has been underutilized since the day he was drafted.
I need to move on from Mo Ali Cox.
They're in love with Mo Alley Cox, and I can't understand it. I'm hoping it's only because Jelani Woods needs to come back healthy. You've got two guys. That could be just fine. It just doesn't make sense to go get Brock Bowers. They're not in dire need of tight end. Brock Bowers, like to me, is like a luxury pick for a team like the Colts. Mo Alley Cox is not underrated as fuck. That dude sucks. He sucks ass from a shaw. That dude is terrible.
Well, here's look. You know, talk about stupidity, but Here is what y'all need to do. This would make a Super Bowl all right here, Hurries. Colts need to trade Trevor Lawrence and go grab that ring.
Yep. You go tell Chris Ballard that and let me know what happens.
Yeah,
he might laugh at your face.
Well, the whole NFL will there's that that's never happened.
The dude will barely trade up for one pick, and you want him to go trade up for Trevor Lawrence. Okay.
I'll tell you another receiver that I think would fit the Colts pretty well, and that's Coleman out of Florida State. I think that'd be good.
He's another guy. But the problem with Coleman is as soon as Jordan Travis got hurt, Coleman disappeared.
Well, you got your Jordan Travis. Well, you're right. If
they both Johnny Walker, whatever the hell his name is, and Keon Coleman disappeared. They were basically non-existent as soon as Jordan Travis got hurt.
Right.
That's a concern to me. Like if you need your quarterback to produce, then you're not a top wide receiver, especially in today's league where your playmaking ability is everything.
And we need to talk to many times off the show. The guy I want is Sweat from Texas, but a lot of people crazy. A lot of my drafts, I've seen him going in the third round. There's no way he's going in the third round.
Wait until he does. Wait until his combine numbers come
Dude, that's what I said. After combine, top 15, top 10, bro. Top 15, top 10, bro. There's no way.
About, nobody will have ever seen a guy that is 6'6", 375 move the way T'Vondre Sweat moves. That dude is a freak.
And constantly getting better, bro. Constantly getting better.
You know, when he came to Texas, he was like 6'6", 280. No, 260, 250. He gained 120 pounds in 2 years. Unreal. Absolutely.
All muscle too, bro.
All muscle. Dude's a freak, man.
Yeah. I think he's that Aaron Donald type where he can stop the run and get you a couple sacks. So
yeah, I mean, you've got to be able to supplement with an outside pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can do that in any consistent way, dude, T'Vondre Sweat's going to be a 10, 12-year guy. Easy.
Bro, can you imagine Jonathan Gennard, T'Vondre Sweat, and Will Anderson Jr.? I mean, that's have to be the the nastiest.
See that for the next 12 years.
I can. I'll be flipping for joy on that one. Michael, who's the guy you want in the draft or off-season period?
In the draft, I want Alt. I mean, fix that left tackle because, especially with their head coach that we just signed, his father is the O-line coach for the Browns. He's been coaching O-line for over 30 years in the NFL. He's considered one of the top 2 or 3. So we can't sign him from the Browns as an O-line coach. We'd have to promote him to like an assistant OC or something like that. But if we bring him in to coach the O-line, whatever position we have to give him, and we anchor the left tackle, then I think we can turn things around pretty quick.
I mean, if we can't get that guy from, was it Penn State? That
Penn State,
I
don't know how to say his last name, so I'm not even going to.
Was it LaFonwu? Bro, these Samoans, bro.
They're making a big step, bro.
No, Sua Matias from BYU.
It starts with an F.
Yeah, Futan or something like that. Futan.
Here we go. Fashanu.
Yeah,
Fashanu. Yeah, that dude's a beast too.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I didn't know. I forgot his dad was an O-line coach in Cleveland. But that's a good point. Like, if they go get that guy, then that tells you all they're going to have to do. That tells you what they're going to do.
Oh, yeah. And also, I don't know if y'all have seen Mike Munchak, who played 11 years when we was the Oilers. And the week that he retired, we hired him to become an assistant coach. And he eventually became our head coach as Titans. And he changed all of his social media profiles back to Oiler jerseys. And he said that he wants his legacy to be to come back to the Titans now and to fix this O-line. So
I mean, that's kind of where it started falling apart, right? Is when Munchak left. So,
because he's his jersey's retired as a Titan. He's in the Texas Hall of Fame as an Oiler. And so to bring him back, we would have 2 of the top 20 all-time O-line coaches on the staff. I mean, we would have to fix the O-line at that point.
I mean, dude, all that to be beat by the Colts and the Texans, man. I mean, that's
that is some level A rebuilding right there.
right. Hey,
Especially with-
Back-to-back Super Bowls. I don't know if y'all remember how this show started. This is a back-to-back Super Bowl season.
yeah. Hey, Michael, all I gotta say is, all jokes aside, you did do something right. You beat the Jaguars, okay?
we
That's all
appreciate
that
that,
matters.
honestly.
Yeah, that's
Now-
all that matters.
Now they're trying to figure out if Trevor Lawrence is actually generational, even though we told him 3 years ago he wasn't.
Yep.
Hey, with all four of these quarterbacks healthy next year and starting from the start of the season, it'll be interesting to see where Trevor Lawrence ranks among the AFC South.
This division next year can be a dogfight.
Oh yeah, with the coaches, we all have
We'll see.
quarterbacks
I think
now.
it's a 2-team race between the Colts and the Texans, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Titans.
And the only reason why I agree with you, Haris, is because the Jaguars are a Jaguar organization, and they fire your defensive coordinator that was actually decent and keep a terrible offensive coordinator that hinders your so-called generational talent. So, I mean, that's the only reason why I agree with you. Press Taylor should have been ran out by week 4, but that's just me.
This is incorrect. Trevor Lawrence is not better than CJ Stroud. Sorry.
Yeah. But he also believes that Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley and Everett Ingram are not weapons. So he thinks they're trash.
Christian Kirk? Yeah, Christian Kirk is what? Who's the other one?
He thinks all the players on the Jaguars are trash. They hit that the Jaguars have no weapons. Could you imagine if the Texans had a Calvin Ridley or ETN or Ingram? Like, bro, come on now. It wasn't the players. It was the coaching.
By season's end, Calvin Ridley couldn't even run the right route. So you might not be wrong about that. I'm just saying.
You're right, but you also had 1 year of football off of him. We all know how that is.
Yeah.
So
let's see. Sunshine will carry the terrible Jags to second place. Wrong again, dude. We've watched 3 years of Trevor Lawrence at this point as the number 1 pick. He's closer to being the next Baker Mayfield than he is the next Andrew Luck.
Bro,
like I'm telling you.
Look, okay, I see your Baker Mayfield, and I'm going to raise you at Danny Dimes. He is Daniel Jones. The numbers are pretty much exact across the board,
I saw that.
Yes.
But they'll probably I mean Juan's not wrong. They probably will pay him just because they don't want to go through, they'd rather be mediocre than shit, I guess. So they will pay him. But that Trevor Lawrence was never a generational quarterback. I try to tell people this before, dude. If I could tell you the amount of times Andrew Luck was hurt and carried the Colts to 12-5 with worse receivers than Trevor Lawrence, you'd probably be broke by now. So I don't want to hear that. He's not a generational talent. He's just an okay quarterback.
He's a good quarterback, and I think he's being hindered by play calling. Like Press Taylor is, dude. He is Pep Hamilton 2.0.
Well, then that's now 2 offensive coordinators that can't seem to get it right. Well, there we go. We have a Jags problem.
Well, when they had your offensive coordinator, Billy Bob Cooter,
he did okay.
Yeah, he had his best year, and that was last year.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I mean,
thanks for Jim Bob, by the way. That's a
it's a
great
Jim
name.
Bob? I thought it was Billy Bob, but Jim Bob, Billy Bob, same thing.
He's a great name with actually a good mind. And he doesn't even have to call the plays because we have a play caller that's not a potato head.
Look, I'll be happy when he makes a head coach because can you imagine? Look at that old Jim Bob Cooter. That's just
Jim Bob Cooter, the best coach in the NFL.
Yeah. Look at play there by Jim Bob Cooter over there. That was smart going for it. Look at the balls on Jim Bob Cooter for going 4-on-4. Like, can you imagine?
Jim Bob, imagine the press. Jim Bob, how do you feel about that call you made there on 4th down? Now you just need a great quarterback name to go with them.
Right. Or just I'll tell you what, that Coach Cooter, woo boy. Well,
it's Cooter.
Oh man,
Oh, gosh.
Well, fellas, this is the worst part of the show because it's the end. Before we go, why don't you tell me where we can find your stuff and what you got cooking? That way we can support you. Or we should go first.
Yeah, you can find us Tuesday nights on the Horseshoe Mob Fan Battle podcast. On Tuesday nights, Horseshoe Mob, as you see right there. 8:30 with Chris, Josh, and the guys. We got our final episode tomorrow of the season, and we'll close out for a couple weeks. Come back with the refresh, and we'll be back with season 3 of Horseshoe Mob. You can also find me Thursday nights, the Texas Longhorn Fan Battle podcast, where we don't sleep because there's always something happening on the 40 acres. We've got special guests coming on here soon. We just had Matt Brown a couple weeks ago talk about
Great episode.
Bowl 25. Last week we had Nino's Corner. So for you Longhorns fans, you guys know Nino. Big guy. He's really good friends with a lot of the guys from the 05 team and went to Texas and has a lot of connections in the industry. So it's fun. And we're looking to get some more guests here in the near future. So guys like Nash and Kyle, who's the Aggie Facts guy. So we've got a very action-packed continued season. Obviously, Texas basketball is going on right now, men's and women's. So Thursday nights, 8:30 p.m. with my guy Tim Wayne.
Hey, Michael, what about you, man? What you got cooking?
Find me over on X at Titans W Order. And Thursday nights at 8 for the Titans Fan Battle podcast. So we'll have a good episode this week reacting to the coaching hire, and hopefully we have some coaching staff moves before Thursday night as well.
All right. And you can catch me on X, Facebook, whatever you want to call it, A1 Day 1 Texans, and, of course, on Wednesday nights with my boys Crenshaw and Bo Diggity on the Texans Fan Battle, 8 p.m. Make sure you tune in. We got Joe George from the Killer Bee Show down there in Houston. We're going to be talking, of course, about this devastating divisional round loss. So, and also writing a couple articles for the Texans on the Fan Battle Sports Network. So make sure you check it out. And also find the show at AFCSFB. Some great stuff going on. So, guys, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button. Couldn't do it without you. And with that, we're out of here. But always remember that Sam loves Jalen Ramsey.
Sit back in your saddle and get ready for the fan battle.